Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Mark with Limo Marketer here, and in today's video, I want to talk about why SEO, Facebook ads, Google ads does not work for most operators. So you might be looking at the title thinking, well, isn't that what you do? Why are you saying it doesn't work? And so this is actually the key for most operators. And so it's actually very simple. Why it doesn't work is because most operators just dip their toe in. They do not go all in. And why is that? Well, let's talk about managed. Okay, so if you're hiring an agency, and then we can talk about, self-managed. So when you hire an agency, because so many agencies get such bad raps because they don't deliver results, they make a bunch of promises that they never deliver on. Someone might go through, 3, 4, 5 different agencies without getting any sort of result, any sort of return on their investment. So when they're trying to hire that 6th agency, they're very leery and they're very cautious with their spend and really with everything. And so the first recommendation I would give is you really want, when you're hiring an agency to do any sort of marketing for you, you really want to do your due diligence. But once you've done your due diligence and you decide to work with that agency, with that marketing company, I want you to go all in, and I don't want you to hold back. And so what I mean by that is, I'll speak to companies and we'll start running, let's say a Google or a Facebook ads campaign. And typically they want to start with the smallest budget possible. I get that. They want to see some results come in. But especially with Facebook and especially with Google ads, there's a certain point, and I've found it's anywhere from $1,000 to $2,000 of ad spend, where you see a pretty drastic improvement in how the ads perform. Meaning, if you're spending $1,000 and in that first month, you might only get 40 or 50 leads. In that second month, you could almost double that number of leads or increase it by anywhere from 50 to 75%. But most of these, especially black car operators, because we have to remember the nature of black car is low ticket. Oftentimes, a lot of the jobs are $80, $100, $150 airport runs. So how many, airport runs does it take to get a decent return on your investment? So let's say we're spending $1,500 a month, total. All right, and let's say it's, you're paying your agency $500 and you're spending $1,000, right? $500 to the agency. Well, in that first month, you might only get, let's say you get 50 leads, especially if you're in a market like New York, it might only be 50 leads in that first month. So really you spent $1,500 for 50 leads, okay? Let's say you close 1 out of 3, that would be really good, okay? So you close, we'll call it 17 jobs, right? But let's say most of those jobs are, $150 runs. You might get a few that are $500 or $600, but let's call the average $200. Okay, so that means $3,400 cash collected. Okay, looks like you can't see the bottom there, so I'm going to just write that up here. 3,400 cash collected. Okay, so you spent $1,500 and you got $3,400. But as any of you watching this know, that means you're probably losing money, right? Because of all of the other expenses you have. So so this is the first month, right? But let's just pretend, let's start changing some of these numbers around, okay? So let's say, whoever this company is, Joe's Limo company, let's say they're taking their agency's advice and they're like, you know what, I really trust you. You know what, let's go balls to the wall. Let's do 2,500 a month spend in the second month, okay? Well, in that first month, we got 50 leads for $1,000, so about $20 a lead. Well, in that second month, we might be getting leads for $15 each. So to make this math easy, let's just say you're getting 150 leads a month now, okay? So if we were at 3,000 with the same 50 lead per 1,000, we would be at 150 leads. But we're at 2,500 because remember, we've improved the campaign. So now you're getting 150 leads. And look, some agencies charge by ad spend, some don't. I'm gonna pretend this one doesn't, just to make the numbers easier again. So out of those 150 leads, you're closing 1 out of 3, remember? So now we get 50 jobs. And let's stay at that 200 average per job, okay? So 50 times 200, now we're at 10,000. $3,000 of spend, 10,000 cash collected. Now in the other scenario, we were at 1,500 spend, 3,400 cash collected, right? So we've greatly increased. If the numbers were the same and we had just doubled that 1,500 to 3,000, we would have only gotten 6,400 in cash collected. But now we have 50% more than that, and that's only month 2, okay? And so over time, and I'll just do a sample. Let's say we go to month 6, and now we're at $5,000 in spend. And let's just say this agency is like, okay, yeah, for that kind of spend, I charge a little more. So let's just say it's $750 to the agency. But now we're in month 6. Okay, so our lead price has come down, dramatically. And instead of 20 a lead, we're paying $10 a lead. So now we have 500 leads. And Joe is a closer and his employees are closers. So he's still closing 1 out of 3. So we're gonna say 166 jobs. And his average, let's just say, is still 200 to make the numbers easy. So now we're at 33,200 in cash collected and 5,750 in total spend. So that's about 1/6 of this, right? This 5,750 is about 1/6. In the previous scenario, we were at 10,000 in revenue and 3,000 in total spend, right? So that was 1/3. And this is month 6. So you notice what we've done is the ads campaign, and I'm saying Google ads, but this is the same for Facebook ads as well, right? Over time, those leads will get cheaper and cheaper. They're not gonna go insanely cheap. That's something SEO can give you. But this is a really good example. And this is the reason why most companies give up. Because even if everything's set up correctly, in that first or second month, they're just not getting a great ROI. And it can take a long time to start getting that good ROI. And it's not just a function of time, it's more of a function of total spend, right? Because remember, in that first month, he was spending $1,000 a month. He wasn't sure if it was working out. And that's why it's so important to track your spend and how many jobs you're booking. Because what you'll find is over time, again, if everything is done right, if you have a good Facebook or Google Ads campaign, dialed in landing pages, good follow-up and post-quote follow-up. If you have all of those things, what you'll find is over time, your client acquisition cost will become less and less. And by the way, by this time, he got 166 jobs in his 6th month. He might total by now have 350 or 400 jobs he's done if he slowly raised his spend every month. How many of those clients are going to become repeat clients? Quite a few, if Joe is doing everything right? If he's delivering an outstanding service and hopefully his clients really love him. And, he's probably even getting referrals at this point. And so that's why most companies do not succeed with these platforms. They just don't stick to it long enough with great enough spends to make it worth it. And so if all you do is jump from provider to provider without ever going all in on someone, it's a very high chance this will happen. Now, that's not to say there are not agencies that you hire them and they don't really get you much, right? That's all too common. So you need to be getting some results, and those results should be improving. And so again, the key is we need to be tracking this, because even if your results start out, less than what you wanted, is it improving? Hopefully every single month your client acquisition costs should be getting lower and lower. So now this is like with an agency. Let's just talk about if you're running it yourself, right? Now, this is a lot trickier, because if you've never done any sort of Facebook ads, Google ads, SEO, anything like that, it's going to be tough in the beginning. And in that $1,000 of spend, let's say you only get, let's say, 20 leads. But, you're doing a good job, you're learning. You're doing a good job at being consistent on studying, learning, and really it's going to be somewhat similar as far as your results will get better every month if you're constantly working on the account, making it better, improving your sales processes and that sort of thing. But it's really, it's similar in a way, because over time you do want to increase your spend as well. You just need to make sure that every single month your cost per lead is going down, because 20 leads at $1,000 spend, that's $50 a lead. That's a lot, right? And, just in my other example with the agency, that person was charging $500, so $1,500 in total spend, but you were getting 50 leads. So your actual cost was $30 a lead. And so whether you manage it yourself or you hire an agency, the main principle I want you guys to remember is this: you need to track so you know exactly how much you're spending. Well, that's easy to do. You need to know how many jobs you're booking from that spend, and you need to know month over month, are you booking more jobs, and is your client acquisition cost going lower, right? So all your client acquisition cost is it, let's say in this example, you're spending $50 a lead and you close 1 in 3 leads, right? So it takes 3 leads to get a sale. That means you would have $150 client acquisition cost, okay? And so if your average job is 200, obviously you can see how this is not sustainable whatsoever. And so that's why we need to get this number lower and lower every single month. So anyways, guys, Facebook ads, Google ads, SEO, they all work. It really just comes down to either yourself sticking with it, making your campaign better and better every single month, or finding an agency, going all in, trusting that you made the right decision. But especially in the first 2 to 3 months, you really need to track every nickel that you acquire, right? It's easy to track spend, but you need to track exactly how many jobs are coming from their marketing efforts. And I'm not just talking about first-time bookings, and this is where it gets a little tougher. If someone books again or they do a round trip, you need to attribute that revenue as well, because that's going to change the numbers quite a bit. And if you see that it's improving every single month, which it should be, then go all in. Spend as much as you can, take the profits, any profits, and put it back into ad spend. That's how you're going to scale from 6 to 7 figures. That's how you're going to recover from COVID. And so I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you liked it, please subscribe to the channel, give it a like, and let me know in the comments if you have any questions about anything I went over here. Thanks a lot, guys.